What you saying, people? Welcome back to my channel. A late one, but great one. Just got back from AFTV in London. And wow, yeah, this ain't going to be a long video. First things first, I want to just encourage you, kill your Arsenal expectations. That's what this video is going to be about. You need to, if you're an Arsenal fan, we need to kill these expectations. I think a lot of them, I think in large part, a lot of fans, Arsenal fans that is, we have an idea of where we want the team to be, where we think the team should be, and there's the reality of where the team actually is. I think sometimes the gap between those three things gets us into trouble in terms of how we see things and our perspective. But anywho, before I get into all of that, what a result. What a result. That is what you call a result. Smash and grab? Yeah, probably. Did Sporting do a lot? Did they do enough to win the game? To be honest, they didn't. They did have good chances though. They had they had one good chance. I think, yeah, they had one good chance, one decent chance. Ryan makes two good saves. Um, but yeah, what a result for Arsenal. Massive result. That is a massive, absolutely massive win. Massive win. I was saying on the FTV, I think, look, given the circumstances, I think I was even saying a nil-nil draw wouldn't have been a bad result to take back home. It wouldn't have been a bad result. Like, why wouldn't it have been a bad result? Yes, it's Sporting. Yes, this is a team we beat 5-1 away from home last season as well. Yes, this is not a great team. This is a team that lost 3-0 to Bodo Glimt away from home. That being said, there's no such thing as an easy game in the Champions League, especially away from home in the knockouts. There's no such thing as an easy knockout game, right? We learned that at Leverkusen. So I think the positives, I'm going to start with positives. I think the positives is that we showed Sporting Lisbon a lot more respect than we showed Leverkusen away from home in terms of just us really not allowing them to suck us into the way into the way they wanted us to play, which I felt like we did a bit with Leverkusen. Where do I start? First off, I'm gonna give credit to the manager. You guys have seen on here, even my previous videos. I criticized him, and I think you got to give credit where credit is due. I wanna big up Mikel Arteta. Credit to him, man. He made some big decisions tonight, and those decisions got us to win. They absolutely got us to win. Actually, you know what? Before I get into him and pay credit to him, let's actually look at the match itself. Arsenal won, Sporting Sporting nil, right? A lot was made about where we're at as a team. A lot was made about, oh yeah, like a lot of fans didn't have confidence about this match, right? A lot of fans were not confident, given and rightly so. We lost pathetically to Southampton. Didn't even go out with a fight, and then we lost to City the previous match before in it. So confidence weren't really going to be high. But man, if I can give anything, let's focus on positives in the performance. I thought, as always, the defense was great. Really, really, really shut down Sporting. To be honest, there wasn't really much threat from Sporting. A lot was made about Luis Suarez. He scored he's got what 35 goals this season. And I said I said at the start of the AFTV stream, I said I expect Gabriel and Saliba to clamp him and they did that. If they came in last season and were able to clamp Gyökeres, who had bagged the hat trick against City, what makes me think that they can't do the same for Luis Suarez, who is an inferior player to Gyökeres at this point in time? So credit to them. I thought Calafiori is rarely troubled. I think maybe that guy had the beating of him maybe once or twice. I think Ben White had a rough start to the match. He had a rough start, loose passing. Obviously, he was caught out positionally for probably Sporting's best chance of the game. And phenomenal pass by Diomande, by the way, outside boot. That was a tasty pass. That being said, look, the defense were good. Rice kind of grew into the game. I didn't think he had a bad game. I thought he had an all right game. Zubimendi was average in my opinion. Odegaard was poor. And I think, and I said it in my match reaction for AFTV, and I'm gonna say it here. I think our midfield rotation needs serious work. I mean, these guys need to just get in a locker room and speak to each other, because I don't think either of the midfielders are helping each other get the best out of each other. I think if I'm Declan Rice and Zubimendi, I'm telling Martin Odegaard, bro, don't come into my zone. Don't come into my area. I get it, this whole rotating CMs to try and move teams out of their block, but that's not working. And what's happening is that it makes our build up super slow, because you've got Erdegaard dropping deep, playing next to Saliba, trying to get the ball, but none of them are really trying to shift it. It's not where I want Erdegaard, and it's not where I want Declan Rice. And even Declan Rice and Zubimendi, I get it. Zubimendi going forward has been a revelation this season. He's scored some good goals. Even the goal he scores, which was correctly ruled for offside, that was a great finish, right? So that shows you the guy's got the prowess, the shooting outside the box. He's got a good progressive pass on the edge of the box. That being said, I would much rather Rice being the one arriving late. Much better ball striking technique, much more stronger, much more athletic. I think Arsenal's midfield works best when you've got Zubimendi kind of doing what Jorginho did well in that 23-24 season, letting him sitting there being that intelligent guy just to keep getting the ball to Rice, keep getting the ball to Erdegaard, but then allowing Rice to do the bum up and down job. And then Erdegaard, stay where you are in that half space. I didn't think Erdegaard had a good game today. I think he was poor. Yeah, he's coming back from injury. Yeah, to be fair, he is coming back from injury, but still, I can't even excuse that. I didn't think he was bad against Southampton, but he's not making the impact that I want him to have. And again, even today, I think what was a bit disappointing was there was some basic, simple passes, and my man, he's just not making them. And even when we had a chance on the counter attack in the first half, you're turning back. Why? Why are you overcomplicating what needs to be just simple? I did like the fact that he was trying to play some switches, trying to get it in quickly. But yeah, yeah, Martin didn't have a good game. You're just gonna have to play your way into good form. Trossard was poor, anonymous. I like that he got on the ball a couple of times in the first half, but I think his execution was just terrible. It was lacking. Noni actually had a good game, and the thing is, I was honest about Noni. I like Noni as a person. I really like him. It's just that I don't rate him as a player. I don't think he's that good, and I don't even think that's a harsh thing to say. I don't think he's at the level required for Arsenal. Is it is he at the level for our bench? Maybe, but he had flashes of brilliance, and not even brilliance, just flashes where he beats his man, but he's trying to do too much. But just bro, just dig out that cross. He does well. That corner where he hits the bar, and then he assists Ben White, and then it gets given for a free kick. Look, I felt he was the outlet. He was the guy that we were getting the ball to, and things were happening. So he didn't have a bad game, right? Gyökeres as well. He didn't really get much service. I think he does well for the goal, but he was for the offside goal, but he was miles offside. Did what he could. We didn't really feed him. It wasn't really that type of game. It really wasn't that type of game. And here's where I want to give credit to the manager, because bro, Arteta, yeah, inspired substitutions. Havertz and Martinelli combined for the winning goal. Dalman looked lively when he came on. It was good to see, man. It was really, really good to see, and credit to him. You know, he's rightly gotten a lot of criticism because the team are playing in a way where he wants the team to play, but we don't want the team to play, right? However, here's where you got to give him credit. The way he's got the team playing, whether we like it or not, for the large majority of our matches this season, the way he wants the team to play, it's gotten us results. So there's where you've got to give credit to him. You've got to give credit to the manager. We've got to be fair and honest. We'll be fair and honest when he gets it wrong, which he did against Southampton, which he did against Man City in terms of the tactics and the approach, right? But today he got it right. And it makes me question, because the thing is, I didn't think he'd risk Dalman. I was thinking, yeah, he'll be happy with the 0-0. But really and truly, there was space. All throughout the game, there was space for us. I didn't think Sporting were great today. I thought they were there for the taking. And by and large, it's a really good result. This is a team that won 5-0, 4-0, 4-0, a team that were unbeaten in 17, a team that were looking tasty, for a team that saw us as something, as a team that was looking tasty, wounded animal, right? But yeah, that's what happens when you have a wounded animal. They can scratch back, they can turn on you, and that's what we did. So credit to Arteta, big him up, man, because I'm not his biggest fan, but he showed intent to win, and it makes me think something. It makes me think, if he's willing to bring on Dalman, my man genuinely wanted to try and win the game towards the end. What does that say about the players? What does that say about these players? Because a lot of times we've had halves this season where we've played where it feels like we just don't want to get out of third gear, right? And a lot of times the blame has been given, rightly so, to the manager, because this is kind of how he wants them to play, controlled, right? But sometimes these players, because Martinelli, look what he does. He just says, you know what? I'm just going to take the ball. He gets past like two players, finds Havertz, bang. And credit to Martinelli and Havertz as well. Both players I don't think are good. But guess what? They combined and they got the job done, innit? So, yeah, there's some positives there. Now, I made the point about killing expectations. I think there's a reality that we as Arsenal fans need to face. The team are not as good as we think they are right now. They're not as good as we think they are right now. Is this Arsenal team good enough to win the league? Yes. Are they going to win the league? Yes. Are they good enough to win everything that comes their way? No. Are they good enough, or do they have the mentality to be the ice cold killers we expect them to be? Not now, no. And I think that's okay. I've had to, and I'm being deadly serious. I don't see this as me lowering the standards for Arsenal. Anyone who watches me, I have very high standards for this club. That's why I will not accept it when people try and tell me, oh, Noni this, and oh, he's decent. It's like, no, this is Arsenal Football Club's football club. The standards are high. That the standards are high. However, just because those standards are high doesn't mean I can't meet the team where they're at. And it's very, very clear. This team is geared, it's primed to win the league. Win the league playing efficient, marginal gains, conservative, a bit nervy at times. Guess what? Guess why? They haven't won it. I get it. That's just where they're at right now. That's the mindset. That kind of like scared money. And that's Arteta. We've played expansive football in 22-23. We didn't win the league. 23-24, we were bopping teams left, right, and center in the second half of the season. We didn't win the league. We're now 7 games to go, 9 clear, albeit with a game in hand. And it's not a guarantee that City beat Chelsea. It's not a guarantee, despite many fans saying, it could be a 3-point swing. Yeah, but then it could be a 9-point swing. You never know. It's not a guarantee that City beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, right? Yeah, but Arteta's found a way to win, and it's got us where we are. So we've just got to accept that this is Arsenal this season. Will we get glimpses of quality in certain times? Yeah, we will. Is it going to be kind of as free? I want to say free flowing. I would say we played a lot better first half of the season, but we're not going to get that right now, and that's okay. Now, and why am I saying this? Because I've seen 2 things can be true. Yeah, did we bottle it against Southampton? We did. Did we crumble on the big stage against City? Yes, we did. But does that mean we're gonna win? We're not gonna win the league? No, it doesn't. 2 things can be true, and that's the thing. Like we have to see, this is a team that looks very, very geared to win the league, and and I think a lot of fans have an expectation of Arsenal where we see what they could be right here, but where they're actually playing is here. But then when Arsenal lose or don't get the results we expect them to, we see them as here, when really they're here. Do you know what I mean? There's gaps everywhere. Why can't we just appreciate the team for where they are right now, and then allow them to get here? This is a team that's still trying to fight. This is a team that's still trying to figure out how to just win this bloody thing. I believe when they win it, we're gonna see a difference. I genuinely believe that. This is just part and parcel. So I want to say, Arsenal fans, kill that expectation. This is where we have to support the team unconditionally. And as I close, it brings me to my spiritual point about love. A lot of love. The Bible teaches in 1 Corinthians 13, love is patient, love is kind. It teaches that love always trusts, love always perseveres. In 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4, love never fails, right? So a lot of us claim to love this football club. Love is unconditional. You've got to give these guys unconditional support right now. What does that mean? You've got to allow them to have their boo-boos, have their spills, you've got to allow that. It can be very, very frustrating. It can be disheartening, but we've got to meet this team where they're at. And it's just a life lesson. If you love someone, yes, you may like if you're only willing to really love them, if they meet your expectations, you're gonna be disappointed. You've got to be willing to love someone where they're at first and do what you can. So that's all I wanted to share, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Let me know what you think about what I said. Let me know what you think about the result. Let me know what you think about Arsenal as a whole. Yeah, all the best.